Hello everyone, and welcome to the September 9th New Moon in Leo Intention Setting Workshop here in Sidereal Insights Astrology. I'm Phaedra. For those of you who are new to the group, traffic. Sorry, we have the window open because the weather is so lovely right now. I'm going to make sure my browser is refreshed properly here so that I can pull the video up. On my laptop, and that way if there's questions I can kind of keep track of them a little bit better, because sometimes it's hard to see comments or questions from the phone, which is where I'm broadcasting from. But welcome to the broadcast. So let's see here. Is it loading? There it is. All right, and I have the volume turned off on the browser, so that shouldn't be an issue. And now if there's questions or comments, I can see them on my laptop and not just rely on the phone. So welcome, like I was saying, to the new moon in Leo intention setting practice for September 9th. Now normally, or at least lately, we've been doing these practices the day before, and I wasn't able to host the broadcast yesterday, so we're doing it today, which is the day of the new moon. I'm Phaedra. I'm the astrologer and artist of Mystick, Physick, Astrology. I use Western Sidereal Astrology in my practice and on the live streams. And the idea behind that is it's our oldest approach to astrology, and I find, at least for myself and for a lot of the people that I work with, that it resonates better. And I think it's a guide to helping us reconnect with our true soul purpose and remembering why we came into this world to begin with. And so my aim with the broadcast is really to kind of provide guidance on how we can consciously use the energies of the transiting planets and use the energies of the whatever the current lunations are to affect our lives in a positive way, so that we're really, responding to our transits rather than just reacting to them. So we're approaching it consciously rather than unconsciously. That's the idea anyway. So if you need to look up your sidereal sign placements, there's an online calculator at the website. It's at mystickphysick.com/sidereal tools. And I'm going to go ahead and actually copy and paste that link into the comments in case anyone needs it if they don't have their placements. Except I have to expand my browser a little bit so that I actually can see. There we go. There's the comment box. Oh, and of course I'll bump the camera at the same time. There we go. So thanks for joining me. It's good to have you on. So tonight what I'm going to do is kind of walk you through the new moon in Leo energy. So this is an opportunity to kind of reconnect with our inner child, to reactivate fun and play and make-believe in our lives. It's a chance to identify where we could be taking some creative risks, especially in alignment with our own natal chart. Hi, Danielle. It's good to have you with us. It's an incredible opportunity, and we'll talk about this a little bit more. It's an incredible opportunity to set big, powerful intentions for the coming 6 month in Leo cycle. And the reason for that is because there's really an underpinning opportunity here for positive change that we can leverage at this new moon and in the days shortly after the new moon. And so that's, I think, a really incredible opportunity that you don't want to let slip through your fingers. And it would be really easy to do that, to just let it slip by and not take action. And that's one thing you don't want to do. You want to take action. So we're going to start out by talking a little bit about the current new moon in Leo and what else is going on. And then we're going to talk about what house and themes this falls in for each of us by sidereal rising sign, and that's where you'll need your chart. You can follow the link I posted in the comments. You'll want to know what your sidereal rising sign is. And then after we've gone through the houses and signs, we're going to talk about the Leo archetype and exactly what kinds of intentions we can set right now. And I'll go through some prompts to help you think about for yourself exactly what does that mean, what creative ways can we use this new moon. And so I'm really excited about this particular new moon. So the new moon is exact today, September 9th, and this opens a door to creative opportunities, right? Because Leo, of course, is the natural ruler of the 5th house, which is creativity, right? So if we're willing to put ourselves out there and kind of be seen, that is where the real risk is, but also where the real chance of reward is. Keeping in mind that the fifth house, the natural fifth house, is also has domain over risk taking, right? And what those outcomes are. And this particular new moon, the aspects are such that if you were to take a risk, it could pay off really well. Okay. So this particular Leo new moon, it's going to bring with it potential for transformation and potential for growth. Any initiation begun under the influence of this particular Leo new moon is going to hold a seed of that potential, the potential for transformation and the potential for growth. And it would be built into basically like the very DNA of whatever you start right now. Okay. But like I was saying, the opportunity is too easy to waste. So be conscious, be intentional about how you want to use it and when. If you need to schedule out time in your calendar to remind you to do that, I would definitely schedule out time in your calendar. And really the best day to be taking action towards whatever intention you set with tonight's new moon intention setting, it's going to be the 11th. So just even tomorrow, which is, not tomorrow, Tuesday. So about 2 days from now, which is right in alignment with the first light of the new moon, which is when we would normally encourage you to take action with a new moon intention setting. You want to set your intentions right around the new moon itself, and then wait until you see the first light of the new moon. That first sliver of light is when you want to take action, and we have some really lovely aspects coming to exact on the 11th when first light should be happening, and you'll want to take advantage of that. And those are aspects with Pluto, the planet of transformation, and with Jupiter, the planet of growth. And so I would definitely suggest here in about 2 days be making your first step towards what it is you're going to set intentions about tonight. So have a plan for action, and if you need to put it in your calendar, put it in your calendar. So first, let's start with Aries, of course, at the beginning of the zodiac. If you have Aries rising in a sidereal natal chart, Fagan Bradley sidereal natal chart, this is a fifth house new moon for you. So it's that natural fifth house. Creativity, children, romance, and true love fall under that house. Not marriage, remember that's seventh house because that's Venus's domain. That has to do with partnership, right? And interpersonal relationships, but love and romance. Fifth house is the natural house that Leo rules, and it's the house of the heart, right? And we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth when we get into Leo archetypes. We'll talk about why that is. It's also the house that governs pleasurable activities, so things like hobbies. It also governs sports, which can be a pleasurable activity, and risk-taking, like we were talking about, in gambling. So if you're thinking about taking a risk, this could be a good time to set your plans in motion. If you have Taurus rising, it's going to be a fourth house new moon for you. So home, family, real estate, later life, your parents, and it could be one or both parents. Although the fourth house typically rules the mother, that can differ from a person's natal chart to the next. If you have Gemini rising, then this will be third house, so travel and communication. Local travel, so short distance travel, and same with short distance local communication. It can also relate to childhood education. It can relate to your mind and your thinking. It can relate to neighbors and siblings and your extended family, like aunts and uncles and cousins. And it can relate to your immediate environment, okay? And then if you have Cancer rising, it's going to be second house. So this is a financial opportunity, and what a wonderful financial opportunity with Pluto and Jupiter in the mix. You could really transform your income, and you could really grow your income if you take action here in the days coming up. So second house has to do with wealth and possessions. It has to do with movable assets and the money we earn from our own two hands, not money that comes to us through windfall or through other people. Also have to do with expenses and our sense of self-worth. Okay, so if you want to work on those areas and you have Cancer rising, this is a fantastic opportunity to do that. If you have Leo rising, of course, it's your first house. It's your birthday new moon, which first house governs some very specific things. Personality, identity, self-expression, your physical body, appearance, and even the role that you play in the world, or your mannerisms, the way your behavior, if that makes sense. But when it's your birthday new moon, it's almost kind of like a wild card. You get to use it any way that you want to. And I would strongly encourage you to, if you have Leo rising, to use this new moon in the way that you feel most strongly led, the way that you feel most inspired to do it. Okay, and then if you have Virgo rising, it's going to be 12th house new moon. So that has to do with privacy and seclusion, has to do with spirituality, with the unconscious mind, with escapist tendencies or addictions. A 12th house new moon also potentially can speak to solo projects or solo undertakings. So if you're expecting to be doing some work kind of on your own without other people's help or assistance, or work that you would be doing in private, kind of out of the public eye, that could be a theme for this particular new moon if you have Virgo rising, because that's 12th house activities, or solo activities and private undertakings. For Libra rising, it's going to be 11th house, which is more social, right? That's social activities, it's organizations, clubs, associations that we belong to. It's also hopes and dreams. And friendships. So there's an opportunity for those who have Libra rising to really take action towards manifesting a long-held hope or dream in their life. Or a new friendship connection could potentially come up. Or maybe you have a new project or activity you want to undertake with a friend, a social activity. You could make your initiation for that type of thing right now if you have Libra rising. And then for Scorpio rising, it's 10th house. So that's career and achievement, right? That's fame, that's recognition, that's awards that we might be receiving. It's also status and reputation. It's like the public side of your life, right? That's 10th house. And then for Sagittarius, it's going to be 9th house. So international affairs, long distance travel, long distance communication, things like publishing and broadcasting. It's also can have to do with immigration. Legal or higher education matters come under the 9th house, as well as does religion. Not necessarily spiritual experiences, but religion is a 9th house experience. And then the 9th house, of course, also rules people that you go to for advice, which may be like lawyers or priests or even astrologers fall under 9th house. Philosophy, that falls under 9th house. I don't know how much that might come into play for folks, but just something to throw out there. For Capricorn, it's 8th house. So this is other people's money, right? Resources that come through other people in your life, through your partner, investment earnings potentially, insurance payouts, taxes, loans, money that you've borrowed. So debts also fall under 8th house, inheritance, bonus and commission income, or money that you win potentially, right? It also has to do with death and the occult and rebirth and transformation cycles, right? Death and rebirth cycles, excuse me, I should say, and transformation. And usually the transformation that we're talking about when we're talking about the 8th house is transformation that comes as the result of the destruction, complete destruction of whatever came before. Okay, so with this particular new moon having Pluto very active with it in the coming days, it's an opportunity to utterly remake whatever it is that you want to remake that has to do with where Leo falls in your natal chart, right? So just utterly sweeping out the old, whatever's not serving you anymore, let that go. Don't worry about it any longer. Don't focus on things that aren't working. Reimagine it wholly new. Okay? That's what you want to focus on doing with this particular new moon. With Aquarius rising, it's a 9th house new moon. So this is partnership and marriage, right? This is where Venus comes in. This is also business matters or business partnerships and your relationships with other people in general, including like enemies. Okay? So people that you have rivalries with can fall under the 8th house. And then if you're speaking about the descendant specifically, It can also speak to what we reject about ourselves. So for Aquarius rising, this is going to be a 7th house opportunity. And then for Pisces, the very last sign, 6th house is where your opportunity is with this new moon. So work, health, pets, daily routines, employees, if you have people who work for you, and this can include babysitters or landscapers, or even if you don't own a business, people that you pay for services would fall under this house. And then habits, or your schedule, like your daily life, is also going to fall under the 6th house. So if you're wanting to make a change to your schedule, if you're wanting to institute a new habit, particularly a good health habit, or make a positive change to your diet or to your exercise regime, this would be a wonderful time to do that. And you could see potentially good results by making your initiation with this new moon in Leo. Okay, so let's talk for a little bit about Leo and his archetype. And if anyone came in late, if you missed when I covered the house and themes that this particular new moon is happening in for you based on your sidereal rising sign, just let me know in the comments what your sidereal rising sign is, and I'll go back and recap for you so that you can choose to use this new moon in alignment with your natal blueprint if you want to. But let's talk Leo. Leo is fixed fire. Okay, and I like that. If you want to conceptualize it as banked coals, it's a steady, prolonged heat, right? Not a flash in the pan kind of heat, right? Leo rules the heart, so enduring warmth. That's really the kind of energy that Leo is. And you've heard the phrase lion-hearted. That's where this comes from. It's ruled by the sun, okay, which also speaks to that fixed fire sense that Leo has, because the sun can never retrograde, right? So there's no waxing and waning of the sun per se, as far as like retrograde cycles. It's there day after day after day, even in the winter, even when it's behind clouds. It's a steady, continuous presence in our lives, right? And it brings us the heat that allows life to flourish on the planet. So it rules the heart. It's ruled by the sun. This is why the natural ruler of the 5th house, Leo, also rules love. Okay, that's the heart, and things we do for pleasure, right? Activities we enjoy, hobbies. That includes lifelong love affairs with people, and with activities that we get pleasure out of. Okay, things that we're passionate about fall under 5th house and belong to Leo. Okay, so the archetype that Leo represents, this is the artist, right? The creative type, the actor, can be the golden child, okay? The king or the leader of the people, or even in some cases the prince, right? That's kind of tied to the golden child. But there's a natural leadership that belongs to Leo. Leo desires recognition. Leo desires attention. And both of those can have good and bad expressions. They can have good and bad effects. It depends on how healthy your relationship is with the Leo in your chart, right? Leo describes our creativity, our problem-solving abilities, our leadership abilities, and our leadership style, okay? And Leo also embodies the will. That's what the sun represents in your chart. The will, the ego, like your presence, if that makes sense. So let's think about this in terms of how we want to set intentions tonight. So what you want to do is look at the house in your chart where Leo falls, and kind of keep that in the back of your mind as we go through the prompts. I want you to consider, how can you reconnect with your inner child for fun and bring pleasure and fun and enjoyment back into your life? How can you start playing more in your life and reconnect with the idea of play? Or how can you engage in make-believe or pretend? This is an activity we love to do as children, right? Make-believe and pretend. It's also the activity that we do on the stage. That's why Leo rules actors and actresses, right? Because that's what we do. We make believe, we pretend. So how can you re-engage in make believe and pretend, especially through visualization? Or bringing pretending into your daily experience as a manifestation tool. This is a really great opportunity to kind of tap into those two ideas. I also want you to consider what creative risk can you take, especially in the house that Leo falls in your natal chart. What creative risk can you take that would help you move forward, or that would help you manifest whatever it is that you want out of this house? Okay? Consider, what are you passionate about? What is your will specifically? This is a big one. What is your will? And what I mean by that is, what experience do you want to create for yourself? Is there a physical thing that you want to create or give birth to? Okay? Also consider, if this is resonating for you, how will you step into leadership? What kind of attention do you want? Okay? And then finally, I want you to kind of consider, what is it you want to change or transform in the area of your life represented by your Leo house? If you could change or transform anything in that house, what would it be? And so what we're going to do here is kind of using those prompts to spur us in our thinking. And you don't have to work with all of them. You can just pick out the ones that speak most to you right now. We're going to work on writing out what big, powerful intentions we want to create for ourselves, what we want to manifest for ourselves in the area of life that Leo rules in our natal chart for the coming 6 months. Okay? And then what we'll do after we've spent some time getting clear about what that is and writing it out, I would encourage you, and we'll do it on the live stream tonight because this is such an incredible opportunity. We're going to spend a little bit of time kind of visualizing that. And then I want you to draw it out with your pen or pencil on the paper that you brought, whatever that is. I want you to kind of, even if it's stick figures, it doesn't matter, whatever represents the thing that you want to manifest, whatever represents that outcome. I want you to take some time tonight while we're on the live stream to actually visualize it and draw it out. And then over the next couple of weeks, especially, consciously spend some time pretending, making believe that you've already manifested that outcome in your life. So here's where we're going to kind of tap into that pretend and make believe. We're going to use it to kind of push our manifesting forward. Okay? And then, like I said, you'll want to take your first actions towards whatever it is that you do want to manifest tonight on the 11th, or as close to the 11th as you can, because Pluto and Jupiter are going to be most supportive. They'll be making some really pleasant aspects to the sun over that day. Okay, so let me recap these prompts real quick. For anyone who might be joining late, how can you reconnect with your inner child and reignite fun in your life? How can you play? How can you engage in make-believe, say for instance through visualization, or bring pretending back into your daily experience? What creative risk can you take that would help move you forward? What are you passionate about? What is your will? And what I mean by that is, what experience do you want to create for yourself? What experience do you want to have? And is there a physical thing that you want to create or give birth to? Or maybe this particular new moon is about leadership for you. And if that's the case, how will you step into leadership? What risk will you take that could help launch you into a position of leadership? And then finally, what kind of attention do you want? And what do you want to change or transform in the area of your life ruled by Leo? So your Leo house in your natal chart. And as we jump in, I'm going to go ahead and read to you from, so this is from today's page in the Moon Gazing Journal, which is what I'm going to write my intentions in. It says, Hindu is food on rooftops during the full moon. Of course, we're at a new moon tonight, but this is a full moon ritual. Letting the rays absorb into the food. That's the purpose. So if you feed this food to family and friends, all will grow healthy and strong. And that is a bit of moon lore for you. So take a moment with your pen and paper to write out your intention for what it is you want to manifest with this new moon. And then when you're done with that, spend a few moments kind of visualizing, or you could do the visualization exercise first to get really clear about the outcome that you want to achieve. And then write your intentions. The order there doesn't matter, just whatever works best for you. And then when you're done with those two pieces, I want you to take a few minutes and draw out what that result is, what that thing is that you want to manifest or experience. Okay? So we'll get to it. Got a new kitten named Leo, Danielle. How cool. I'm going to use the scratch paper to do my drawing on because apparently I don't have any non-scratch paper handy. That's adorable. You have to share pictures. I love that you named him Leo. That's perfect. Question is, how do I draw what it is I want to manifest? This is going to take some creative thinking. The dog is Reese. I see you've got a theme going on there, Danielle. Of course, we do too. We have a cat named Jet and a dog named Rocket. And then we have Buck and Penny, which we didn't name them Buck and Penny on purpose. We actually named them Buckaroo Banzai and Penny Pretty from the movie Buckaroo Banzai. I forget, what's the full title? Buckaroo Banzai and Adventures in the Eighth Dimension or something. I can't even remember how it goes. Anyway, it's an awesome movie from like way back. And we call them Buck and Penny, and I don't know how that happened. It's just a funny thing. So, those of you who are willing to share the intention that you're setting in the comments, please do. Sometimes that can just provide kind of a little bit of inspiration for the rest of us. If you're willing to share, sometimes if you're working with something really private or really personal, you might not want to, and that's fine. Don't feel like you have to. But you're welcome to share your intentions in the comments. And I'm going to share with you what my intention is that I'm setting. And this is kind of interesting. This has to do a little bit with being seen, I guess, and creating an audience. Especially regarding my business and my website and astrology. So the theme that I'm working with here, because I have Gemini rising, I'm working with communication and writing especially, because I have this big thing that I've been wanting to do for a couple of years now, and I haven't moved into that space yet, and I'm ready to. I really want to get this done. So if you've been to the website and used the chart calculator that I posted the link for, so that's a really awesome plugin that I have that has the capability for me to input custom interpretations into, so that you could enter in your birth data on the website and get an instant natal chart interpretation based on your birth data, right? Hi, Jennifer. I'm glad you could join us. You are going to want to watch the replay because this is a really fantastic new moon opportunity. And we kind of talked a little bit about how you can use this one, but it's about using this new moon playfully, using it to take creative risks, especially ones that will bring about positive change and growth opportunities in our lives. And it's because it's such an awesome opportunity. I don't want you to miss it. So definitely when we're done, catch the replay so that you get all of those details. So my intention, so this plugin doesn't come pre-filled with any interpretations. As the astrologer, you write your own. And it's something that I've been wanting to do ever since I started using the plugin. And the gal who wrote the plugin, I love her. She writes a whole bunch of astrology-themed plugins, and I use quite a few of them. She released a feature, a service last year I paid for the moment she made it available. You can use her plugin with your interpretations and sell instantly downloadable natal chart interpretations right through your website. So basically, you would go to the website and type in your birth data, go through the checkout process, and bam, instant PDF download that you could have. You wouldn't even have to wait, right? So the trick is, I have to write these interpretations of what the different planets in different signs might mean, or in different houses. And while it's not quite the same thing as having a personal chart reading where it's one-on-one with the astrologer and all they're doing is looking at your chart, it still can be a valuable service to have something like that available. And what I love about it is it can be a really low-cost way for someone who wants astrological insight into their natal chart to get it, even if they can't afford the couple $100 that it might take to work with an astrologer directly. And so it's something that I've been wanting to offer for a long, long time. She just released, I think earlier this year is when she released the plugin that allows you to instantly create natal chart reports like on demand. So now really, in order for me to offer it, all it's waiting for is for me to write these interpretations. Now that's no small task because I did the math. It's like 358 separate interpretations that I need to write, right? To kind of fill in all the potential meat for this service, this tool. And I really want to do it. That's a lot of hours writing, but it's writing that I really only have to do once. So it's not like writing the horoscopes month after month after month where it's brand new and has to be done from scratch each time. That stuff, I just write it and it would be there, and I can't wait to do it. I've been wanting to do it for a long, long time. And so that's what I set for my intention, is that I intend to create inspired, informed, intuitive interpretations for natal reports to make the natal chart interpretation service available through my website, and that it is my intention to provide wise guidance through these writings and to complete them before the end of the year. Okay? And what's interesting is that in the last couple of months, I've been toying about with the idea. How many of you are familiar? Let me know in the comments. How many of you are familiar with NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month? That's what November is, right? I almost said Movember, but that's a totally different thing. That's when you don't shave for the whole month if you're a guy. Anyway, NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month. And it's kind of an annual event that writers get involved in where they commit to writing 50,000 words in the month of November. 50,000 words being the average length of a novel, right? I don't know if what I'm going to be writing is less than 50,000 words. I suspect it's probably more, given that, isn't it? It is, isn't it? It's so funny. So I would say, I gotta think here. So every month when I do the horoscopes and the overview, I average around 12,000 words a month. So I did the math on that after my first year of writing horoscopes. I wrote over 150,000 words my first year. So roughly equivalent to 3 novels in a year. Right? That would be like writing 4 months worth of horoscopes in a month if I were to try and write 50,000 words during the month of November for NaNoWriMo, which is what I was thinking could be a good way to get these interpretations done, is if I commit to, okay, I'm going to participate in NaNoWriMo, I'm going to commit to writing at least 50,000 words of interpretations for the plugin. But now The new moon in my 3rd house is right now, and it's not November. It's not anywhere near November. And you know what I would want to do? I would totally want to take advantage of this Pluto-Jupiter energy and have that built in to this task of writing these interpretations for the plugin. And so I'm not going to wait till November. I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to wait till November to get started, even if it takes me more than a month to write all of these interpretations. I'm going to start with my first set of interpretations on Tuesday, on the 11th. Sorry about the noise. So I have that energy built into this endeavor, and I'm really excited about it. I didn't realize that's what I was going to set an intention about when I sat down to do the live stream today. So this is what I drew out, and I'm going to have to visualize this. And I think what I'm going to do is spend time visualizing it being done already, not visualizing the process of actually writing the interpretations, right? Because what we want is the outcome. That's what we want to manifest. So tonight after the live stream, I'm going to spend some time visualizing what that final end result looks like. But this is it. So I drew a little chart with several pages, and probably this is only like 5 pages. It'd be longer than that, probably. Okay. And then a little calculator where you put in your name and your birth date and your birth time and the city and state of birth, and you click the enter button, and then it's going to generate the results, the reports. So the way that this would work now, like say if I had all the interpretations written right now and you went to the web and you type in your stuff and you go through the checkout process, what it does is it almost kind of generates a web page, right? And that would be saved in your order history at my website, and you could print out the web page. But I've talked to the developer, and what she plans to do with a future update is have it set so that it generates an actual PDF document, so that you're not trying to do any kind of copy and paste kind of stuff for print a web page. So ideally, I'll do this, and by the time I'm done with this, she'll have that update ready so that it'll be all PDF, instant, on-demand, download kind of thing. Jennifer says, wow, that's ironic. I'm buckling down to write my book by the new year. 50,000 words is the average of a 200-page book. Yes. So this means that if I'm not done by November, Jennifer, that you'll participate in NaNoWriMo with me? That'd be awesome. That'd be fun. We could get like NaNoWriMo buddies and elbow each other out. Hey, did you write your words today? Danielle says, when is the next Astro update? That's actually coming up tomorrow. I have that here under my announcements to remember to mention you guys. Tomorrow at 1:30, join me. We're doing the next Astro update on the Mystick Physick Facebook page. So not here in the group, we're doing it on the Facebook page. Okay. And so let me go over what are the announcements. I had to scroll back down to the bottom. So September overview and short reports, they're on the website. If you haven't read them yet, please go and do that. September is long. This is like the longest month I have ever seen, that I have ever written. And I do apologize because that means the full horoscopes by sign are not yet published. And normally they're up at the beginning of the month or shortly thereafter. And they're not finished yet. I'm still finishing up the writing, then I've got to proof them and get them published to the website. So I apologize that there is a delay there. I will let you know as soon as they're ready. But yeah, September's a long month. There's a lot going on astrologically speaking, just in terms of aspects for September. And so that's what's making them run long. Plus I've had some schedule challenges come up for myself in the last couple of weeks, including a local election that I had to take time out, and because I do election work locally once in a while, about 4 or 5 times a year. And so it's kind of slowed me down in terms of getting those finished. The 2019 Ultimate Astrological Planner is available right now. It's not on pre-order anymore. You can buy them and they ship within 3 to 5 days. They are ready. Now, why is that important? Well, we're not at the end of the year yet. However, we are entering into the fall season, and new for this year, I launched an academic version which runs from August to August. So it is the school year rather than Okay, so if you don't have an ultimate astrological planner and you want one, you don't need to wait and buy one that's going to start in January. You can buy one that starts right now if you want. And there's a couple different styles available. There's other new things that are available for this. I released a disc-bound version, which I don't know if you guys use disc-bound planners. I love them. So I have a couple disc-bound notebooks. This is one that I use, but they have these little discs, right? Now, they're customizable. You got your own covers. You can move papers around. They're really kind of neat. I love them. And you can get all sorts of cool accessories for them. Like in this one, I have, you put little pockets in them, and you can get these nice heavy-duty plastic dividers for them. I think they're cool. I wanted to make a disc-bound version of the planner. That is out this year, and I'm really happy to say it's out this year. Also, I have made it so that you can buy just refillable inserts, which was kind of the idea for doing a disc-bound version, was so that if you just wanted to buy a fresh insert each year, you could do that without necessarily having to buy like a whole notebook. So there's a lot of cool new features this year. There's a lot of accessories available. Like now you can actually get printed tabs for the months. If you want to have a tabbed version, you can order tabs. What else did I do? I created, and this is kind of cool, I created a tri-wheel chart observation notebook page so that you can even get, if you have a disc-bound planner, you can get basically observation notebook inserts for if you want to make notes about transits or eclipses or your natal chart or anything like that. If you want to jot them down on the wheel blank and then make notes about what you experienced and when, and kind of track your experiences and track your transits and how they play out, you can order that insert now. And then I've added a feature where if you order the disc-bound planner or the comb-bound, this is the original kind that I offer with the comb binding, right? If you order this kind or the disc-bound, not the centerfold, but one of these two, you can also choose to add your natal chart to the planner. And then what I'll do is you have to give me your birth date, of course, when you check out, but I will create your actual natal chart on a printout as an extra page in your planner. And that way you have your natal chart handy whenever you might need it. So if you're looking at transits in any given month, you're like, oh, I want to see how that lands in my natal chart. You can just flip to your natal chart right there and have a look at it. So there's a lot of cool new stuff that's available with this year. So definitely check it out. So so you can go to, it's mystickphysick.com. If I can type, we'll see, /2019. I made it as easy as possible. So if you go to that, if you follow that link, let me make sure I typed it in right, mystickphysick.com/2019. Yes. You can see the whole collection of all the different types. You can get the comb-bound kind still. You can get the disc-bound kind. You can get the centerfold kind. I'm thinking about adding one more new type sometime in the next couple of weeks. There's some new cover styles. A lot of new add-ons and accessories basically that you can get to go with your planner. So if you want one, they're available. You don't have to wait until January to get one. You can get one now because we did the academic style and it's available. What else? What are the other announcements? Monday, but we already talked about that. So Monday, the 10th, that's tomorrow at 1:30 Mountain Daylight Time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 8:30 p.m. British Standard Time, and 5:30 in the morning if you're catching us from Eastern Standard Time. Will be the next Sidereal Insights Astro Update, so join me tomorrow for that. And that's it. I think that's all I have for announcements, unless y'all have questions about anything else. Let me scroll through the comments real quick and see if anyone decided to share their intentions. Of course, if you haven't, you still can, especially if you're catching the replay. And how awesome. I love that you named your kitten Leo. That's so cool, Danielle. I think that's it. I don't have anything else. So I will end the broadcast and we'll jump off, and that way Jennifer can watch the replay, and then we'll get this uploaded to the website and we'll get it posted on YouTube. And everyone, enjoy your new moon. Definitely take advantage. And like I said, on the 11th, you absolutely want to make your first step, your initiation of whatever it is you're wanting to manifest. So join me on Tuesday in doing that. I will be putting down the first words for interpretations for the natal chart that we're going to be releasing on the website, and I'm very excited about that. Thank you, Jennifer, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.